James Craig is Detroit's police chief. He joins us tonight. Chief Craig, thanks so much for coming on tonight. So I just can't resist asking you this, since you are the police chief of Detroit, a city that was flattened by riots in 1967. What are the lessons that, and it really hurt the city, as you know. I married a woman from Detroit. What are the lessons of that experience for you as the police chief of that city?
Well, you know, I grew up here, Tucker, and again, thanks for having me on this show. I always enjoy it. I'll tell you, I lived here at that time. I grew up. I remember the civil unrest in '67. 10 years later, I'm a Detroit police officer. Didn't want to be a Detroit police officer. And it was probably one of the best decisions I made, because I understood, and my dad reinforced, if you want to be about change, become part of the institution. And so, of course, I went on to Los Angeles, and now I've returned years later. But there were a lot of dynamic moves made over the years in a positive way. You know, the city really understanding what defines community and neighborhood policing. Many police departments talk that, but they really don't understand what that relationship truly looks like. And so many get it wrong when they just talk at the community, because you got to talk with the community. And that doesn't mean that you're going to have those individuals who are going to go sideways on you at any given time. But I'll tell you, Tucker, you know, and I've listened to a lot of what you said leading up to my interview, and I couldn't agree with you more. You know, we support the anger. We don't support that mob mentality. We just can't support it. You know, I praise the swift action of Minneapolis and dealing with the officers in terms of the occupation. However, one thing that oftentimes get missed, and this is, I'm coming up on my 44th year in this business. You know, we talk about probable cause. We talk about what a police officer can and can't do. Many times we go to a scene of an incident, maybe a violent crime. There's evidence to support that arrest should be made, and we do that as police officers. Everybody's outraged. Even when I saw the video of this officer who clearly wasn't overcoming a violent resisting suspect.
Right, I agree.
Even that, he continued to apply pressure to his neck. And that point alone, is when he crossed over from being a police officer to a criminal.
Right.
And so anybody looking at the video, and I get what the prosecutor's role are, but our role as police officers, we get to look, is there PC, probable cause, to determine that a crime's been committed? I say yes. It's no secret, I've had to arrest a number of Detroit police officers based on probable cause. And I think, and I'm not saying it would have stopped totally what's going on in Minneapolis, because it sounds like there's been a history of some issues that are not resolved, and this was the trigger. Just like what we saw in Detroit in the '67 riots, just what we saw in Los Angeles during the Watts riots, and then when you look at Rodney King, when I was employed by the LAPD and on the front seat of what was going on there. And so there's a dynamic. We got to make sure as police leaders that we're not treating, different when they cross that line. But we should also be sensitive to know that the vast majority of the men and women who wear this uniform are good police. They do it right each and every day. They put their lives on the line. But when we have one that crosses, we have to be transparent. We have to be swift. We have to deal with it, and deal with it now.
I agree with that. Chief Craig, thanks so much for joining us tonight. I appreciate it. Good to see you.
Thank you. I appreciate you, Tucker. You have a great one.
You too. Thank you.